Howdy, folks. I'm smack dab in the middle of my review of the very short lived first series of Firestorm, the Nuclear Man. I had to split up my review of issues 2 and 3. I did issue 2 last time, and now we will get into issue 3, and it jumps right into it, so strap it down. Let's go! Let's go ahead and step into issue number 3, shall we? Kiss Not the Lips of Killer Frost. And obviously, just from the title alone, you know we are going to see the debut of arguably Firestorm's arch nemesis, Killer Frost. Yeah, fire, ice, sure, makes sense. So we open with Ronnie using, honestly, I kind of laughed at this when I saw it, but Ronnie using his powers as probably any normal teenager would by scaring the bejeebus out of the high school bully, which, as I said in the first review of Firestorm, is the nerd. Ronnie Raymond is the jock. The guy he is scaring the crap out of right here in these scenes is the nerd, Clifford Carmichael. And while probably not a responsible use of his powers, I can't imagine I wouldn't do the same thing if I actually had the powers and I had this going on. I wouldn't hurt the guy, but certainly no harm in trying to scare him. What's even worse, though, he goes ahead and scares the nerd bully, lands in school, separates as Firestorm, and as I said before, Martin Stein doesn't remember anything that happens when they're Firestorm, after they're separated. And Ronnie says, okay, see ya, goes off to school, and just lets Martin Stein just kind of wander around trying to figure out where he is. Has to get a cab because he's got to catch a plane going to the Arctic. Kind of a dick move there, Ronnie. I got to tell you, excuse my language, but geez, just let this guy wander around thinking he's blacked out all the time. I didn't get that. That didn't seem right. Still doesn't. And again, I don't know at what point in time Stein knows he's Firestorm, but it's obviously not here. So Stein catches his plane, heads to the Arctic. This is a big government, army-style power plant that's being built in the Arctic. And there he runs into a former colleague, Crystal Frost, who has created a super coolant unit for this nuclear reactor that she calls Thermofrost. Now for her, it's been a long battle of trying to get respect, being a woman in a primarily dominated male area of science, I guess. And this cooling unit is the pinnacle of her career. And as we find out how she got to all this, we also find out that she's been in love with Martin Stein for quite a while. Fortunately, Stein does not feel the same about her, and doesn't even really appear to be attracted to her, although I don't know why. She's good looking, but what comic book woman isn't? So Frost gets mad at this rejection, storms off, notices that the door to the Thermofrost unit is open. She walks in there, but because she's so frustrated about Stein's rejection, she bumps the door closed. Now, it's important to note that when this door closes, the Thermofrost unit instantly turns on and instantly gets to negative 1,000 degrees instantly. Have I said instantly enough? It's amazing. This is a unique piece of machinery, very well done, that it can go from, comfortable enough to be walking around normally, so let's say 50, 60 degrees, to negative 1,000 degrees in a matter of a door slam. So of course, when that happens, if you are stuck in a Thermofrost unit and it all of a sudden goes from normal to below 1,000 degrees, you get, yes, superpowers. She all of a sudden becomes Killer Frost. Again, comes up with their names very quickly. I guess one of the side benefits of gaining superpowers is the ability to come up with a very clever name for yourself instantaneously. Almost like closing the door to a Thermofrost unit and having it drop to negative 1,000 degrees instantaneously. So Killer Frost, fueled by Stein's rejection, starts freezing everybody in sight. Meanwhile, All the way across the globe, Ronnie Raymond is in the middle of a basketball game. And during this basketball game, he looks up in the stands, sees his girlfriend, but then also sees the principal talking to some other guy. And for whatever reason, in the middle of this basketball game, he sees in the stands his principal talk to another guy, and he wonders, wonder what's going on there? Who's that guy? What kid is, first of all, going to be that conscious of the fact that the principal's talking to someone else, much less care that the principal is talking to someone else? And this was really the only point of this. I know actually why they did it this way was because they're building this subplot between the principal and this other dude that kind of carries over, and I don't think ever fully got fleshed out through the remaining issues. But that was kind of the start of it. From a narrative standpoint, I guess it was necessary to have Ronnie notice it. So back in the Arctic, Killer Frost begins to kiss Stein with her killer kiss of death, and he starts to freeze up. Simultaneously, back at the basketball game, Ronnie Raymond starts to get really, really cold. And he's like, what's going on? And he senses, Stein's in trouble again, and leaves the game right in the middle. Everybody going, hey, where are you going, Ronnie? What's going on? And he changes into Firestorm, which, of course, takes him from the high school and merges with Stein at the Arctic facility, where he notices, hey, Stein was making out with this chick. Well, this don't sound too bad. Waka waka wow. Once again, Ronnie's kind of a jerk. Gets all turned on by substituting places with Stein. Gets into this whole kissing thing. Of course, that's right up into the fact he starts freezing. And actually, she manages to freeze him totally, even to the point of putting out his head. But of course, that doesn't really stop him for long. He manages to flame out and melt all the ice, blow it off of him, and goes after Killer Frost. And it's here, while he's in pursuit of Killer Frost, Ronnie wonders to Stein, hey, how come it always is whenever we fuse, I go to you and not the other way around? Stein's like, I don't know. Why don't we get to fighting the Killer Frost lady instead of wondering about this right now? So Firestorm's nuclear blasts do nothing to Killer Frost. As a matter of fact, it even seems to be making her stronger. So Firestorm tries to use his nuclear touch, as Stein called it, directly on Killer Frost, and it's here he discovers that he cannot manipulate the atoms of living organic matter. He can do it on inorganic matter all he wants, but firing it at living people or things causes some sort of nuclear feedback, blows him back onto the ground. It was then he tries to hide from Killer Frost because he's a superhero? I don't know. He was hiding, I guess, to recover. And she eventually finds him, mainly because, and this is how it was described in the book itself, the ice crystals around her ears have actually caused her hearing to be increased, so she's able to hear him through the floor. I think a better use of that would have been, she can seek out heat sources, because obviously we find out later that heat actually powers her. I'm sorry, spoiler. But you would think that she could use that to find him better, as opposed to ice crystals enhancing someone's hearing, which seems like a stretch. But what are you going to do? It's comics. So, as I just mentioned, Firestorm does finally figure out, hey, it's obviously the warmth that seems to be powering her. So she gets more ice power when she's around warmth. So he changes the wall behind her into a refrigeration unit, closes her in that, and she turns into solid ice because of it. The good guys win. So that's the end of issue number 3. We will get into issues 4 and 5, possibly the unpublished 6th issue. But for now, my name is Kevin, and that was my commentary. What are your thoughts about Firestorm, the Nuclear Man, number 2 and 3? They introduced 2 major players in the Firestorm line of enemies, if they have such. I remember Multiplex and Killer Frost in the second run of Firestorm, the Fury of Firestorm, the Nuclear Man. So it's kind of cool to see them in these first couple issues. It's amazing how they got by with some of these origin stories. But hey, you know what? You got to go with comic science, right? I always say it's comics, and that's certainly the case when you are trapped inside a coolant device that can go to negative 1,000 degrees instantaneously. Obviously, that's going to give you ice powers, of course. So what are your thoughts? Let me know. Leave a comment below and we will talk about it for sure. If you want to hear the reviews of the next 2 issues and possibly that unpublished 6th, then why don't you click on that subscribe button. It won't freeze you. It won't give you superpowers, I'm sorry, other than the ability to know when my next episode comes out. And isn't that a power we would all like to have? Sure we would. So why don't you go out, make it a great day, and I will see you later. Bye.